Good evening and welcome to another scene in London Ascending in the Vampire Venue. We are at the lounge, the bar, the lady in waiting, um, and Laura has um, just gotten in from some well, a little pick me up. A bit of feeding's been done, and she's ready to do her duties as she thinks. But she is expecting a visitor at some point soon, and it is one of her clan. Does a person of her clan appear?
Yes, indeed. A finely dressed gentleman, bearded of the like, stops outside the familiar door, checks his phone real quick to take a quick look at the time, sees a notification, and then looks slightly perturbed but wipes it away for now as he puts his phone back into his pocket, walks to the door and sees a familiar face at a table not too far from his location, and gestures with a friendly wave and makes his way to the table.
You will notice a slight change. The decor is somewhat changed. The place that Laura's sitting seems more central now, but it also, I mean, it does look like more of a private area. You have to. I mean, it's been redecorated somewhat. Maybe so she has some privacy, or maybe that it's harder for people in the general area to overhear someone talking at the table. Who knows?
Hmm. Hello, Laura. It's pleasant to see you again. See you've made some changes to the local area.
Well, we all have to take our precautions. She smiles. Please come, sit.
He takes a seat. So how can I be of service for you today?
Well, I formally wanted to, unless I suppose you have heard of the recent development.
I certainly have. I hear you've been made harpy.
Quite so. I just wanted to invite you and deliver the message if you haven't heard. But of course you have. Um, Secrets and news tend to travel quite fast.
It certainly does. He would reach into his pocket and fishes around for about 2 seconds until he feels the object that he was seeking, and plucks it from his hand and gives it a quick flip into the air before snatching it again. As he extends his hand out, you see an intricately made coin, um, made of gold and silver, where the Ventru symbol is centralized and raised up above, and underneath it are two opposing hands passing scroll to each other. Um, but with a wax seal on the scroll that is defined with silver linings. As he passes that to Laura, this was a gift I had made up just for the occasion.
You shouldn't have. Please. And she takes a moment to study it. She just says, "Wow, thank you, thank you very much. It's
Uh,
really. Have you make this yourself, or do you know someone who does it?"
oh, I know someone. Unfortunately, I'm not quite skilled in the ways of metalworks. I know how to swing it. I'm not
Well,
sure how to make it.
she looks at it. Well, someone certainly is. You must send him my compliments.
I certainly will. I'm glad you like it. Any sort of post will deserve some sort of reward or recognition.
I have just been appointed. I hope to do the clan proud. Um, However, there's a couple of other things I wanted to talk to you.
Alrighty.
You are in the judicial field, yes?
Most certainly. After the unfortunate demise of my sire, my brother took the primogenic seat, and I took over his We can call them talents, business, what have you. But effectively, I inherited his position.
Hmm. I met him, met the Primogen, your brother. Fine man. Um, you see, I might. There's a concern I have. You see, there's a person I know who's in the hospital. It's connected to a hospital, you see, and he is a hard-working man, but I'm quite certain there might be a bit of, well, legal trouble with some of his direct superiors that I think would be in the best interest of everyone if the right parties were to look into.
He would raise an eyebrow, slight, in slight suspicion, just general intrigue. So, what sort of legal troubles has he run into?
Well, I like to think of it as future legal trouble, something that would call his position into question and maybe help a promotion for someone very hardworking under him.
Has he been wronged?
Not yet.
Hmm.
I wonder if this is something you can assist me with.
I usually tend to have more details before taking on assignments, as you know of my background in the way I carry myself. I tend to try and reward those who are of a similar, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethic as myself.
Hmm. Well, I suppose I can get more information.
Should they be a man of good repute and have generally not trying to do it just to undermine somebody and go somewhere where they haven't quite earned themselves to be, is probably the proper word here, then I'll have no issues with helping. However, I'm not the kind to go around putting people into places that they really ought not be. I sort of do the opposite.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will get the appropriate information, and then I will get back to you. And
Being a harpy, I doubt that would be of any challenge to you these days.
quite so. Um, I need to ask you something, however. Have you heard of the twins that presented a gift to the Queen?
I have heard of them in passing. Unfortunately, I was not at Elysium the day that they were there. I know it's quite odd for myself. I do tend to be at every single one of these events, but I was actually a bit busy, I should say, consulting for somebody else at that particular day, and I could not tear myself from it. So I did send my apologies to the Queen, but I did hear they gave her something of quite extravagant and lavish, from what I was told.
The crown of an English king, but then there's been some mumblings.
Which king?
Out of character, I in character would know. Out of character, I can't remember. So she will say what she knows of it. Um, but soon after, she will just say, "Well, that was not the only eventful thing. It was truly a quite a wild evening."
I had heard someone had their heart ripped out of their chest.
And the seneschal was relieved of duty.
Yes, no, I heard of this as well. I hear that the position is up for grabs.
Mhm. Quite an eventful evening indeed.
It'd be quite nice to see a Ventry back up in that position, given the previous prince.
Well, I made my name available, but given my position and that it would be perhaps overstepping my very short time in the city, I wised for another position.
Hmm. I had considered putting my name forward, however I don't know if I presently have the support to gain it.
You know?
Well, I've unfortunately not been able to make friends with most of the newcomers into this city. And in order to be the right hand, you really need to be in the hearts and minds of all of those that are present in the court.
Mm,
Yes, unfortunately, my business has left me rather distant from the court as of late, and uh, it's not how I'd like it to be.
well, I am under the impression that there is a front runner who is well, quite well looked upon by the Queen.
What's this person's name?
Garnet, a Malkavian,
A Malkavian. Well,
indeed.
that would be interesting. I would hope they'd keep their temper. Hmm.
He is quite the flatterer, but well,
Ah, yes. No ill will towards the Queen whatsoever. She's always had a thing for a smooth voice.
mm,
Lovely woman, salt to the earth.
mm. Garnet is a little too mm, well. I'm quite. I'm not quite sure how to put it, but something about him seems off. It seems like he is eccentric, like a Malkavian should be. Yet he's slippery and a little too pleasant.
Hmm. Potentially hiding something.
Well,
That's no good. Can't have that in a position of power like that.
well, we all hide some things. If hiding was a problem, I don't believe that there would be anyone who's filling any position, to be honest.
I have been an open book from day one. It's one of the things my sire actually liked about me.
Well,
But we will see. I do not know if it is yet my time to take upon such a position, but if I was able to garner the hearts of people, I certainly would.
well, there's still time. And who knows? Garnet is, well, he is who he is. The truth will shine at some point. Maybe there will be need for another.
Mm. I hear we also have a problem with cultists these days.
Indeed, we do. That is what led to the demise of the former regent, the Tremere. Apparently, he has been consulting with such. Led to his heart being removed.
Ah, so that's what that was. At least justice was swift,
Quite swift.
as it should be.
Apparently, he was dealing with infernalists.
Well, we can't have that. Not one bit.
Nope.
So what do we know of these infernalists so far?
Well, as far as I know, a Toreador named Lorne has most of the information. He has followed up on some clues. I haven't been able to hear anything from him yet, but I will get in contact with him soon.
Yes, I will need to speak with him as well. If you could find out more information for me, I'd be more than happy to hear it. I don't like scum in my city.
Well, quite so. Tell me something. These two sisters, they seemed to, well, they seemed to imply that they were gangrel, since they obviously possess animalism. But one of them said that they were originally from uh, mainland Europe and the Slavic part of it, and, most importantly, they said they have Romani origin. Do you know what that means?
Can't say I do. Last thing I know about Romanese is commonly known as gypsies,
How
bands.
much? How much do you have in kindred lore?
In kindred lore, I'm assuming that's a background.
That is a skill. I mean, you have at least one or two.
It's a skill.
Yes, it's a secondary skill. I think it's called.
It's not on my sheet. I don't think it was given to me.
Everyone has at least some dots in it, but you would probably know, um, like most of the clans, and you would know that there is a clan called Clan Ravenous,
Right.
which is has a certain connection to the Romani or the Gypsies or whatever you call them, and this might be what she's hinting at.
Right. Okay.
Just your character would know. I know you're new, so I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So I would know of the Ravnos. What exactly would I know of them? As in, like, what is their
Like
temperament, or effectively, are they
they're
insane?
they're
Are they?
they're independent. They are they're well. They have a certain connection to the gypsies, and you cannot trust them. And they're really, really bad news normally. Of course, I don't know if he personally has had any contact with them, but
No, not yet. As of
they're quite unruly normally. They seem to get into trouble because of yeah.
well, at this point, upon hearing this information, a scowl would cross his face. And you said they gave her a crown. I believe, out of character wise, I believe I remember reading it was Prince John's crown?
Probably yeah.
The fake king. So if I were to have known that, or you knew that in character but couldn't remember it out of character. So they present her with a crown of the fake king inside her own court. Well,
I thought I would mention it before I go to further inquiries.
the symbolism behind that is quite haunting.
You've got to admire their nerve.
I don't know. It's not nerve I'd admire them for. I don't think admire's the right word.
You're correct to a certain extent, but for me, I could begin to be let it known that they are. Well, let's be honest. When she was asked by Mr. Peck what clan she was from, she was very reluctant to answer.
She's hiding something, then. That much is easy to know.
To be honest, I asked. Well, she said something to the effect of, "Is it that weird to meet a gangrel since I have animalism?" She, of course, never said, "I am a clan gangrel," but she did heavily imply it without saying anything, which is not necessarily a sign of, well, trustworthiness.
No, unless I can get a straight answer from someone, one where they're giving me an assurance, not just a walk around, I wouldn't take it for anything. Everything with a pinch of salt.
I personally do not really have anything against that clan, if they are from that clan. I have something against them hiding that they are from that clan.
Well, if they feel that they need to hide it, it could potentially lead to bad intentions.
Or they've been through this before and have found out that hiding it, despite all appearances, is the best course of action because they've been driven out of God only knows how many times. Yeah. Not saying that this is the right thing to do, but still.
Well, if they had come into Elysium and attacked somebody after calling themselves Ravenos, then yes, of course they'd be driven out, if not killed. But if they were just to say, yes, we're Ravnos, we understand the implications of this, we know the previous history, anything and everything can be looked beyond. It's the true character that matters. If you can't uphold if you can't uphold yourself honestly, then your intentions could be just as dishonest as your words.
She looks at you for a moment. Just, oh, I must say, you are quite honest, quite noble in a way. More so than many of our kind I've known over the years.
It's a sad truth, but yes. But that was what my sire was attempting to do. He was trying to I wouldn't say bring about a new age of the vampire or the Camarilla, but he was trying to bring back the base values of loyalty, honesty, not really chivalry as I would say it, but honor amongst ourselves, so that we can all be able effectively a stronger bond.
Quite so. Quite so. Interesting. I'm glad you're not refraining from talking of him. I myself had quite some trouble speaking about my own sire. He has also been claimed by the final death.
Mm.
It seems like ages ago. Well, in a sense, I guess it was.
Yes. The wounds don't quite heal, though, to be fair.
Well, you do not necessarily get over them. You never do with a loss of that magnitude. No mortal does, no kindred does. But you learn to go on despite it. Well, thus far it is what I can do. The only thing I can do.
He would reach down to his hip and pull out his flask. Pardon me just a moment, as he unscrews the silver lid and tips it down his throat, as his shoulders seem to relax ever so slightly as he finishes the contents of the flask. He closes the cap and puts it into his pocket.
Laura can be seen like she has a coffee cup, like a large one, but it's one of those what you can refill where you can't see the contents.
Right.
It's like a a
Yeah, one of
thermal.
those, a thermos. Yeah.
Yeah, with a cap on, so you can't really see what's in it, but you can smell that it's blood, and she's also drinking it every once in a while.
Right.
And she just says, "Well, I'll keep an eye out, see if I can get a bit more information about this. These two in particular needs to be kept an eye on."
Yes, their intent needs to be made clear. Last thing I'd hate to think is that the Queen's in danger.
That I don't think will be a problem.
I would hope not. Cultists in the city and smooth talkers trying to become seneschal leads to a sense of heightened risk.
It does. Yet, they are less of a problem if they would go for the Queen in such a direct manner.
But if they're smart, they do it indirectly. Or,
And over a longer period of time, however, over a longer period of time, we would have a better chance of catching them.
unless someone was working from the inside. As we've
No.
already seen, one person was. But just because one person was doesn't mean there aren't more.
Well, they strike me as drifters more than
Oh,
usurpers.
I don't believe that they're working with them, not without having met them. But just in general, any newcomers, I won't say suspicious. Everybody should be treated openly, but it just brings that sort of extra air of caution.
Well, I suppose we will see in the near future. But if I were to get information of the Infernalists, I would give you a word uh, as soon as I have. I might actually myself want to investigate this.
Yes. If you cannot get in touch with me directly, he pulls out a business card with an address on it. Send something by the post or by courier or something. Just get to me. I may be busy. I'm not too certain. My schedule's been a bit erratic.
That's quite all right. And she makes a note of the address, and nods to herself. And says, very well. No, you've been busy with work.
Yes, there have been a couple of instances where I've been asked to consult and supply particular means of effectively assisting court cases through professional documentation, official documentation, professional testimony, things like this, via Skype calls and general technology. Seeing as I have to work from home, but it's been keeping me busy. There've been a couple of big name firms that have come to me because my name has been, well, it's been around for a bit.
Hmm. Well, I do approve of keeping busy. Keeping in touch with the mortal world is somewhat more important than most give it credit for.
Mm. Well, we can't really have the mortal world fall into disarray, but it'd make things a little tougher on us.
That is true. And they do seem to need quite a bit of direction from time to time.
Checks and balances. I assisted with one such thing many years ago. You see a smile creep across his face as he fondly remembers one of the first major acts that he had been a part of as a kindred.
Mm. Well, is there anything you would like to discuss, talk with me about?
Well, we've discussed the Infernalists. I have congratulated you on your positioning of the Harpy. We've spoke of the twins and their lavish gift.
Mm-hmm.
The position of Seneschal opening up. Unfortunately, outside of that, as I've been away, I've not quite sure what to ask. I've not met any of the newcomers outside of yourself, and I believe I need to meet them all in person before I can try and figure out where I am at the moment.
Well, do remember that you can always come by this place. It's, I try to make it as welcoming to our kind as possible, and I've had quite a few visitors as of late.
Certainly, I'll keep the invitation in mind.
Good. Very good. She just nods, and she will just sit there for a moment, and she'll just check in. And like she has a bit of like notebooks that she's from time to time just having a look in, making a bit of a note. But she seems at that point she just if there's nothing else, well, I mean you're welcome to stay, of course, but I might have some things I have to take care of here. But
Yeah, that's perfectly all right. I had seen something pop up on my mobile phone just as I was entering, so I should probably go see to that and make sure that things aren't getting out of hand elsewhere. But I do appreciate your time and the updated information. Once again, congratulations on being named Harpy, and I
and
will
thank
see I will
and
see you again shortly.
yes, and thank you very much for the very kind and hopeful gift.
Oh,
I truly appreciate it.
think nothing of it. As I said, every sort of promotion deserves some sort of reward or recognition. So I'll be on my way, and I'll see you again shortly.
I truly hope so.
He gives a quick, gentle bow before he takes his leave.
She also like nods to him and seems to return to her notebooks. Writing. But also like she has a laptop. She picks up and just begins to type away at. And with that, we will come to the end of the scene. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.